Hi everyone. Today video is on VueJS authentication using JWT Auth Cookie. Okay, so cookie means everything will be taken care by server only. So on every request, if the user authenticated on every request from the our Vue application, cookie will be attached to the request. So server can validate the cookie and delivers the appropriate response. So in this approach, uh, JavaScript cannot tamper or access the cookie because here we are going to use HTTP only cookie. That means only browser can append the cookie to the request. Applications cannot access them. Okay, so in this video, we are going to implement a sample to login user with JWT auth cookie. So here in this video, main target is how to authenticate the user using the access token instead of the cookie. Okay, and I want to also mention that VueJS authentication with a pure JWT token means directly token will be returned to the client and that token will be stored in the some session storage or local storage. So that kind of implementation I have already made videos, couple of videos on them. So if you want that approach, you can check my old playlist. So here this demo is using the cookie. That demo is old demos are directly using the access token and storing them in some browser local storage and session storage. Okay, so before any going further, I want to mention that uh, this session, what I am going to explain, has already made as a blog. So the link will be in the description under the video. So interested can click on the link. Okay, so this is the blog. Okay, since we are using server side cookie, right, in JWT cookie authentication, right? So we need a server. So for this demo purpose, I have created a mock API. That target framework is Nest.js. It is a node-based application, which is Nest.js. So you can uh, download the repository. Okay, once you have downloaded the repository, just install Nest.js into your system. Okay, and after installing, go to the root folder of the application and run this npm install command so that all the libraries that are available in the package.json will be downloaded on completion on entering of this command. Okay, once everything is good, then to start server Nest.js server, please run this command. Okay, so GitHub link will be here. You can download. So I have already set up that API. So here it is running successfully in my local. Okay, same thing you can do like me by following these steps. So this is my server application, which will delivers me the login authentication cookie. Okay, now what I will do, I'm going to create my Vue.js application. So let's create the application. We create cookie. So here is our sample application. We created Vue with the target version 3. Okay. Now for this demo, we need 3 more additional packages that we have to install. So those are like Vue router, okay, and Vue store and the Axios. We need these 3 libraries. So let's install them. Okay, let me copy those comments from my blog so it will be quick. Uh, I want to mention one more thing, like in server while setting up, we need to specify our domain in the enable course. Okay. For suppose if you downloaded and running the Next.js server application that I have provided the git link, right? That application. So there in the main.ts file, inside of the enable course, inside of the origin, please make sure to specify the domain of our application. Okay. By default, our Vue.js application runs under 8080, right? So I have already added that URL here. If you are using any another different port or a different URL, please make sure to add it here. Okay. Now let's install the required packages. Those are like so npm install space view router package. So copy this, and this router package is compatible to 3. Okay, you can Google it also if you have any doubts or confirm it. Let's install view router and now install view store. And finally, let's install Axios. So you can check here view router, Vuex, and Axios. Our libraries has been installed successfully. Now, for this demo, I want to have two pages, nothing but two components. One is login component and another is after login dashboard page, which is seen by the user. Okay, so let's create those two components. So inside of components, let me add. Okay, and I can remove this composition. I can leave it like this. Okay. And create another component like dashboard. Okay, so these are my two components. And now let me configure my routing into the this sample demo. For that, inside of the src folder, let's add new file like. Okay, now configure routes. So root login and login, two paths are redirect to login component only. Okay. Okay. These are the route we need for our demo. Okay. So create router, that method that loads from the view router. Okay. You can specify create web history to maintain the browser history. Okay. And another property routes. I can give my routes constant array. And let's export this route config. Okay. Let's export this route config. Now we need to integrate our route configuration into our app instance. For that, go to main.js file. Okay. Like this, you can split. Now let's import our config from app router. Okay. App dot use route config. So it should be like rs app route. Okay. From this, I can access that property. Okay. Like this, we need to integrate our view router instance into the view instance. Okay. So let's check and navigate to our pages. Okay. Okay. So before doing that, let's add some menu and menu links. Okay. And use some bootstrap styling for it. So let's do that. And next we will test our pages. So let's go to bootstrap website. So bootstrap in the introduction, copy the CSS file and come to our project. Go to index.html and above the closing head tag, add this CSS style file. Okay. Now I want to add menu, right? So let's go to components and navbar. Yeah, navbar is fine. So let's copy this nav element and go to here, and our master template like is nothing but app.view component. So in the app.view component, let's add our menu. So go to app.view, is the root component, right? So I can get rid of this existing default hello world component and this logo, and from here I can remove this, I can remove this, also these stylings. Okay. Once again copy that command for menu. Uh, let's have a row to div, and here let's add this one. Okay, after removing all unwanted some elements, my menu looks like this. So here I want to add two menus for login and dashboard. Okay, so to add menu links, I can use default view component like router link. So let's use it. So here you can see router link. Okay, I can use it. So here I can give two, nothing but the path. So I can say like login and class. I can say nav hyphen item bootstrap styling. Okay, and here I can say this name like login. Okay, so let's get rid of this and let's copy same thing and paste it over here for the router link component. Here I will change like dashboard. Okay, name it like dashboard, right? So this is my menu, and to render our content, we need to render one more default router component. Okay, so that is like router view. Okay, so what this will do means if you navigate to a particular page, so that page content entire thing will be rendered here in this area. So that is the working functionality of the router view. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and we have added menu and also we have rendered the router view. So let's run our application and just check our sample how it looks like. Okay, run sir. So our application is up and running. Let's access this domain 8080. So here we can see something is missing. Okay. Changes to nav link. Okay. Now save again. Now it's little better, right? But it is not navigating. Let's check why it is not navigating. Export route config not founding, so something is missing. Simply what I will do, I will export here. Okay, and let's see the output. And now that yellow warning, this warning is gone now. Let's test. Yeah, now it is working. Router link. See. So now I have successfully created two pages. One is dashboard and one is my login. Okay. Now on login page, let's add some form where user can enter his username and password. Okay. Uh, for that, I am going to use some bootstrap styling to render in the form. So let's do that in login view component. So copy pasted my code snippet for creating the form. Okay, so form will have two divs with two input fields like email and one is password and the button. So like this, we will create a sample form. Okay, if you want code snippet, you can copy it from my blog as well. Now let's see the output. Right now we can see the small form for email and password. Now we need to do some data binding, nothing but two-way binding to read the data from the uh, our form to our view component. Okay, so here I want to mention one thing. We will create properties for these model binding in such a way that those properties must match with the payload of our API. Got it? So my payload of my server payload API, how it will look, I will show. So based on the same names will be used here uh, to the form model binding. Okay, if we given different names to the form while sending the while invoking the API, we need to again remap to the payload properties. Instead of that, if you use same names that server required properties for our model binding, it will be simpler. Okay, so I will show those properties what they look like. In my blog, if you go to the login API section, this is the URL. Okay, and its payload is email and password. So what I will do, I will use these properties for my model binding into my form. Okay, email and password. So I will do like model email model password. Okay, and here let me create them as data properties. Okay, email password. And let's create a method for uh, submit button. Okay, going to name it like login. So for now, what I will do, I will console log start email comma start password. Okay, and register the click event here. Right click and login. Next thing we have to do is we need to integrate Vuex store. Okay, where the data flow communication will happen between the application and the store. Okay, so we need to set up a small store, and inside of store only we are going to invoke all our APIs that are required for our login. Okay, so let's jump into setting up the store. Let us search. Let's add folder like store. Inside store, add one more property like folder like modules. So this is module based store. Inside store, let me add store file like auth.js. Okay, so let's create the basic skeleton structure for the store. So to save some time, I have already added saved some code snippet to represent the skeleton structure of my auth store. Okay, this is the skeleton structure of my store. So state nothing but the where we are going to store our data that we fetch from the API. Getters are nothing but the way it contains methods. Those methods are used for fetching the data from the store. Okay. Actions. Actions are nothing but the asynchronous functions. So here we are going to invoke the API calls. Mutations. Mutations contains set of methods. Those methods will be used to change the our state, application state. Nothing but data in the state. Okay, finally exporting all those as a default. And here you can see one more property like namespace equal to true. So what is the play of the role of this property means while using the store any getter or actions or mutations into our components before invoking those stores, we should prefix them with this uh, namespace. Means those namespace must be added while invoking those getters. So what is that namespace? In the next step, we will understand. Okay. So this is the auth store. Now we are going to create a file in store like index.js. Okay, so this is like the uh, root for all the stores. Means here in this index.js we are going to register all the modules stores. Means just now we have created auth store, right? Like that auth store must be registered here. Similarly, if we have a number of stores, module stores, those all stores must be registered in this file. Okay, import from create store. Now constant store equal to create store. Okay, and modules equal to, I can specify name like auth. Here I want to register my auth store. Let's import like auth module from okay, and assign that value here. So we have successfully registered our auth module into the root store. So let's export it. Export.default. Okay. So now I need to inject this store object also into our Vue application. For that, go to main.js. So here let's import our store. Import store from X. Okay, and configure similar to like our routing only. Now we have successfully registered our store instance into the Vue instance. Okay. Now my first step is I want to invoke the user login API. Okay. So where I want to invoke. So API calling is a asynchronous call, right? So asynchronous, all the asynchronous related tasks will be happen in the action. So here I have to create the API call invocation in this actions. So let me create like async login. Okay, and in the actions, first parameter will be the commit command. This parameter will always be automatically passed by the framework or library, and second parameter our user payload. Okay, so this value will be passed from our components or anywhere from our application. Okay, here I need to invoke the API. So and response equal to, okay, let's say use Axios. See, automatically namespace got imported. Axios 78 dot login, right? So login, it will be a post method, and I need to post it here, and the payload object I need to pass. Okay, and here we need to pass one more thing. Okay, that is nothing but why this with credential true must be sent. If you observe our server Nest.js application that runs under localhost 3000, means that is different domain, and we know our application runs under 8080, means both are different domains. So at that case, if you want to on invoking API calls, if you want to enable any cookies related to that API from our application, then we must specify like with credentials. So by this adding this, the browser will automatically appends the cookie for the every request of the server. Okay, if we don't use for cross domains, API call will won't work because those cookies will not be get added to the request. If our view application and server side applications runs under same domain, then these things are not needed. But here we are using different domains, right? Cross domains. So we must specify that. Then only cookie will be added to the every request. Okay? Response, response data means success. Okay. Else means failure. So after successfully invoking the API, I want to update this login API status. I have created one property in state, right? I want to update this property. So I cannot call state directly into the actions. State only changed from the mutation. So let's write a method in mutations. Okay. So method is like that, and its first parameter will be state. And this first parameter taken care by the library, and second parameter is payload. Okay. Now here I can specify state dot what is the property login status, right, equal to payload. So now I can invoke this mutation method from the action method. For that, what I can do, I can use commit command, and its first parameter will be name of the mutation method. Second parameter is our user defined payload. I can specify like success. Okay. So in the else condition, I'll specify like failed. Okay. This is my action method looks like. So let's look again. So what we are doing, we are invoking the login API, and once it is success, we are updating our state by invoking the mutation method success if it's failed, if it is failed. Now let's update the URL here. I have already shown, right? So let's go to our blog. So this is my login API, localhost auth/login. So copy the URL. So paste over here. Okay. Now what we have to do, I need to consume the store into my login view component. So let's go to login view component. So what I need to do, I need to invoke the actions. So to communicate the actions, we can import to default methods like map get. Okay. So these map getters will feature the sorry, not map getters, map actions. Okay. So map actions can be registered here like map action. Okay. So what is the first parameter here? I have specified, right? We should give namespace. So what is my namespace of my auth module? Namespace is nothing but this property. Whatever we registered our module, that property name will be the namespace. Let's do it here. And what I want to register here, what action method? I want to register login user action method. So what I will do, give like, okay. So I'm assigning to same property. Okay. Now what I can do, I can do like const payload equal to email, comma, registered password. So email, password. Okay. Now I can use this is asynchronous because the action method will be called inside of this method. So I can give, so I can specify await and this dot action method I need to call. Nothing but user login. And it is expects what it will expects payload. So pass the payload. Okay. Now it will trigger action method, but we have to know the status of the login API status. For that, we need to read these properties. So state data only read from the getter. So let's create a getter method. Okay. Get polish. So its default parameter will be state automatically passed by framework. So let's return state dot login status. That's enough. Okay. Now let's go to our login module. Similar to map actions, we will have map getters. So where should these map getters registered? This should not be registered in the methods. It should be registered in the computed properties. Why computed properties? Because state values always changes. So if you registered in computed, it will always fetches the latest value from the store. So I can register like map getters. Okay. There I have to specify the namespace. Nothing but the auth. And what is my action method? Get this one, right? So let's register here. I will use same property. So I will specify here. Okay. Now what I can do, if this dot get action message status equal to something else. Okay. So what are the data I am assigning, success or failed? So what I will do, I will check for success. So if it is success, I want to navigate it to dashboard page. This dot footer dot I can specify dashboard. So what I'm doing, on successful login, I'm navigating to the dashboard and alert error. Okay, I hope this will work. Let's test. So I'm giving some dummy credentials and check. Mhm. First reload page. Dummy. Mhm. Okay, we are getting exception 401. Let's handle the exception as well. For that, what I will do here only dot catch error console dot log. And now this else will execute because we are handling cache, right? So it will automatically execute this. So let's test. Yes, now error is executing. So for my API, I am only have fixed login credentials. So those values I have already made it available in the blog. So we can check those what are those credentials now. So here you can see email lu nothing but Naveen@seeker.com. and password is 12345. So please use these credentials to work with my server application. 12345. Let's check. Let's open this as well. Clear network calls as well, and click submit. See, navigated to dashboard page. Let's check the HTTP call. HTTP call is success. And if you observe response header, you can see one auth cookie is setting from the server, and you can also observe its value is its type is HTTP only, means JavaScript applications cannot handle it. Okay, means not handle, cannot access them. So now it is successfully navigating to the dashboard page. Okay, so we are successfully authenticated with the JWT cookie auth, and that cookie is HTTP only. We have to do is on successful login. While opening the dashboard, we see some user data, something like in the header, username, and some information of user on the page, and login also should be hidden. So for that, what we have to do? We cannot access the JWT token from the cookie because cookie is inaccessible due to HTTP only. Okay, so what we have to do now? We need to call some API that going to gives us user information. Okay, so let's add the logic for invoking that API for user information. Okay, so that API URL looks like, see, domain/user profile. After login, if you access this, you will get the what I can say API. If you try to access it in browser, it will deliver because we have already logged in, right? That cookie will be available in the browser, so you will get this data information. If you are not authenticated, this API also, if you directly access, you will get 401. Okay, so we need to access this API into our application. Okay, so for that, so first let's create some state for our user data. So for my user profile, my state object, default state object will be like this: user ID, last name, email, phone number. Okay, for my demo sample, I have expecting these properties. Now I need to create a one more action method here. I can create like async user profile. Okay, user profile, and first value will be commit. And here I no need to send any query parameters or payload. So there is no another property here. Okay. What I will do is simply copy paste this line of code for invoking. So no payload data, right? It is simply a get, and this second parameter won't be there, and with credentials. Okay. Now if success response and response have data. So now we need to invoke the some mutation method to update the state of our application. So let's create a mutation methods like okay, and the first parameter will be state and the payload. Now what I can do, I can update my payload object. Just copy this, paste it here, not here. Mutation should be equal to, okay. payload.id, payload.lastname, first name, payload.email, payload.phone. So this is my mutation method. Now I have to invoke here. Okay, what I can do, I can use commit command and the name of the mutation method and the payload from the API. Okay, so that's it. How to invoke the user profile API. So what we are doing, invoking and updating the user state. Now we need to fetch it somewhere in our application. So let's create action method as well. So for that, what I will do, get user profile and the default value will be state. So from here it will return user profile data. Okay. I think we are done with the changes in our auth module state. So now I need to invoke this user profile action method. Where we have to invoke? This should be invoked before entering into the page, like dashboard page. So for that, we need to use VueJS route guards. So route guards will be helpful to do some logic before entering into the page. So for that, where we have to go to our app router JS. Okay, here route config dot before each. Okay, so this method will be helpful. Here we need to implement our logic. Here we will have method like to comma from comma next on the arrow function. Okay, and here to implement some guard functionality in routes array, we need to have one more property like meta. So this object we can give any data. Okay, so I can give some property, my custom property like required all false. For login page we never required all. So apply these properties into the array, and dashboard we require true. Okay, so this is very helpful, these values while guarding our application. Please make sure meta is default property. Okay, but inside of it, whatever object, it is dynamic, any property can be assigned here. Okay, now inside of before each we can do like if 2 dot meta, see meta, and I can access this property with the when user requested any route, first this method will execute, right? So this method will fetches this route value based on the user entered route. So it will check whether authentication is required. So if it is true, to enter into this page, authentication required is here specified is true. Then what we have to do? We need to check the user data from the store. Okay. So for that, we can import store here. Store from store. Okay. So let user profile equal to store dot getters, and here I can specify namespace like this, and what I want to get, I want to get user profile data. For that, in the getters I have created get user profile, right? I can access that property. So specify here. Now it will give the data, user profile data. If from the user profile data ID this ID property I'm checking, right? So ID equal to 0 means no user data, means till now user profile is not accessed into our application. Then we need to invoke the action method for calling the data. So for that we will do here, it will as a async, so that we can await here, await underscore dot. I think we should use a dispatch and its namespace auth, and the action method name, what its name, what its user profile. See, when you used in components, we used map actions, map getters, right? This is only for the components. This operator is plain JS file. There we should access store directly like this. Okay. So after getting, so after invoking again, we will try to fetch the data from the profile. Okay. If still user profile ID is equal to 0 means maybe cookie expired or invalid way of calling the user profile. In that case, we will again redirect user to uh, back to login page instead of going for the secured page. Or else we simply return next means user requested path will be get executed. Okay, I think this will work. And now in our app view.js, let's add some changes. So first let's get the user profile data. Based on that, I will switch the menu. So for that, I can import map getter from Vuex, right? So map getters. So map getters where I should register in the computed properties. Okay, and then namespace is auth, and I need to register my user profile data. So let's register this property in app view as well. For that, is app view. Right, I have registered my user profile data. Now what I can do, I can use v if, okay, user profile dot id equal to 0. Okay, let's duplicate this entire UL and right over here. Not equal to duplicate means logged in user. In logged in user, we will have we don't need this login route, but we need something like user email I want to show. Let me add this for better styling. So here what I can do, I can bind the data. So user profile dot email. Okay, and user profile dot email, right? So here I don't want to show dashboard link. I think that is fair enough to switch the menu when user logged in and not logged in. Okay, let's see some unknown import. Let's remove it. Okay, now it is running. Let's check in our application. Okay, now log in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My password. So it is same only, not working. Okay, I have made one mistake here. Directly, I should call this method, this property in app view. So let's change it like this. Let it be like this, but change this one. Get user profile. That is the mistake I'm correcting. So here, change it to get user profile. Okay. If you want, you can change this as well, your custom name. I am leaving like that only. See, I haven't given proper user profile URL. So let's go to my blog and copy the URL. So this is my user profile URL. Copy this, paste it over here. Okay. So this will work now. Let's test again. 3, 4, 5. See, I am getting Naveen. Means I am logged in. And you can also observe no login URL, only dashboard. Okay. If I reload, I'm going here. Okay. Now let's check in here as well. Network calls. Once I reload the page, user profile is calling and fetching the data. And here there will one more bug while guarding. So if you try to log in, it will go login page. See, you go to dashboard, it will show dashboard again because I am already logged in, right? But if I go login, it is going login also. Means our route guard is not completed. So I'm going to fix this issue as well in the next video, second video, which is last video. Okay. So we are successfully logging the user. So now finally I want to show logout and close this video. And in the next video, I want to show the issue I have shown here, right, with the route guards, that one, and also how to utilize the refresh token. That also stores in the cookie only, but how to invoke everything will be explained in the next video. Okay, let's complete this video by implementing the logout logic into our sample application. Okay, now for logout, let me add one property like state property like logout, which is false by default. Okay, and this value will be vary depending upon the my logout action method. So let's call async user logout. Okay, and it also don't contain any payload, so single input parameter only. Now I am going to just copy this. Okay, and my logout URL is logout, I believe. You can check in my blog if you want. Okay, and if it is successfully logged out in the server, then I need to update my state of logout property. Okay, response.data. Okay, now I need to create a method for logout property, set logout. Okay, and properties like state comma payload. So what I will do, state dot, what is the property exact name, copy from here and update the state equal to payload. So on successful logout, what I will update it to true. So using commit command, here I will pass true value. So what I will do will give this input parameter. Okay. So that's all about the logout in our state. What I'm doing, I'm maintaining a one property like state by default false. And once the logout is successfully invoked, I am updating to true by using the mutation like set logout. Now where I have to use this logout, I have to use it in the appview. So here I can specify one more link, right? And can give span like this, okay? And it should be logout, and I can register here a click event. Okay, so here what I have to do, I need to create a method for logout method. I can specify like logout. Okay, so it should be async because I am going to call the action method. So to get the action method, what I have to do, I need to get the map getters. Sorry, map actions. So map actions. So here inside of the methods, we registers the map actions, and the namespace I know auth, and here I need to register my map action for logout. So what is that? User logout. Copy that and register here. Okay, here should be comma. And now what I will do, I will await and invoke the start user logout. Okay, as simple as that. Next, I need to fetch the uh, property. So in the getters, I need to have one more property. So what is my property from the getters? So I haven't created a getter method for logout. So we should create. So let me create quickly get logout getter method. Okay, and state and return that logout property from the state. Okay, that's it. And now I need to use this getter method in my app view. What I will do, I will use it. Okay, if its value after calling get logout, it must be true, right? If it is true, I need to reset my user profile property. So constant user profile. So the profile default value series delete, simply copy from here. So I'm resetting after logout. Means I'm emptying the state as well after successful logout. Okay, I need to invoke the mutations. So for that, mutation. Okay, mutations as well can be invoked from here, similar to like map actions, map mutations. Okay, path. So what mutation I want? I want this user set profile user. So this mutation I want. So I'm going to register it here. Okay. And call that mutation this dot set profile and pass the payload. Payload nothing but user profile data. Okay. And finally also reset the state of this logout. For that I am going to register this as well logout in the mutations. Okay. So finally should be in quotations. We start set logout equal to false. So this will work, and register our logout method. Okay. So let me log in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm successfully logged in. I am able to log out as well. Now I am clicking on logout. So if you clear the network calls, click on logout. See, logout successfully done. Okay, only thing I forgot is I am not navigating to my login page. For that, I log in. So here, I need to log into login page. And it's fulfill our application. So reload again, log in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, log in only. Now click logout. See, successfully logged out. So from this we can see it is very simple. There is no manually handling of token or everything. Everything taken care by the cookie only, server cookie. Only thing is for cross domains you should use with credentials while invoking the any API call that related to cookie adding. So this one you need to give. If our view application and server side application runs under same host like subdomains, then this won't be needed. Okay, so I think that's it. What we have discussed here, we have successfully logged in our user and also accessed the user profile data and also switched the menus based on the user authentication, and finally we have implemented logout. So in the next video I am going to explain about a refresh token and also some good way of implementing the route guard. Because now if you after login, if you directly navigate to login page, it is navigating, right? Basically it should not navigate. Once user logged in, it should not show login page again. So those route configuration restriction I'm going to explain in the next video. That's it guys. I think this video has delivered some useful information. If you like the video, please do subscribe to my channel. We will meet you again with new videos soon. Until then, signing off.